Today we have Dr. Thomas Lechner and also Mr. Anand, who is the Director of Indo Global Studies. We just want to know why Thomas Lechner is in Hyderabad and what is he doing in Hyderabad.
Why? I'm here for the good Birani, of course. No, I'm actually here because I'm here representing my university, the American University of Malta, which is a startup university in the middle of the Mediterranean and a really beautiful place to come and study.
Okay. What is your role in American University of Malta and some details about the university?
Okay. Right now I'm working in recruitment and outreach and as a startup university doing a little bit of everything, but I'm here in India to talk with agents and students about our university. We have a very wonderful university that's now in its second year, and we're trying some very innovative things in learning and teaching and preparing students for the workplace in the 21st century. So it's really my pleasure to be here in India and in Hyderabad to talk about our university.
When the American University of Malta founded and when it started?
About 2 years ago. So we are very much a startup university, and for me a startup university is something very exciting because we don't have this 100 years of history and of practice. So we are really trying to do some innovative things in the classroom and for experiences for the students to really prepare them for the 21st century workplace. There's a so-called gig economy now where students need to be able to, when they graduate from college or university, to represent themselves on the job market. So we are sensitive to that, and we are help preparing students to work immediately after graduation from our university. So we take great pride in that.
Okay. What programs does the university offer?
Okay, as a startup university, we only have a few programs. We want to develop a few programs and develop good programs before adding a lot. So we basically have three main areas. The first is business. So we have bachelor's programs in business administration, finance, and accounting, and then we have the MBA program in the business college. The second area we have is something that's quite unique and interesting in Malta is our online gaming development. Malta actually has a very vibrant and large gaming industry. So we are working with those companies in Malta hand in hand to develop a gaming program, which now is a bachelor's degree program, but we'll add a master's program. We also have, related to that, graphic design and animation. So that's kind of the second area. The third area is engineering. And we currently have electronics and communication engineering program, but we will add to that as well. Both the president and our vice president of the university are engineers, so I know that's something that they want to pursue. In the future, we hope to add, as early as next year, a hospitality program from probably the best program in the United States, the University of Nevada, Las Vegas. It's not official yet, but we're hoping that that's going to happen. And that's a real logical program to add in Malta because Malta is a huge tourist destination. So it's a place to study and have internships and work experiences in the field of hospitality. So we'll be adding programs little by little, but right now we want to focus on quality and then quantity later.
Why do Indian students need to do a course in your university?
Why do they need to? Well, I think they need to come to Malta because, one, it's an American-style university created by American. Most of the people in administration, like myself, are American. So it's this really unique atmosphere of being an American-style education, which is very practical. We really emphasize the practical learning and the application of learning. So students are going to be doing a lot of project work, collaboration with classmates, internships, very active learning. So you have that system in Europe, so you have really the best of both worlds. You have this American university in Europe, and of course Malta is part of the EU, and we provide students opportunities to study, whether it be a short term or perhaps internships in some of the other EU countries. So you have this really unique place. And my earlier point about being a startup university, we're spending a lot of attention, as I talked about, trying to prepare programs that are going to prepare students so they can enter the workforce, the job market, and be competitive. They're going to have those skills to present themselves and their skills, and so we take great pride in that. So I think Indian students are going to like, one, the climate. The climate's very nice. It's similar to Hyderabad. It's quite warm. 300 days of sunshine a year or more. And it's a very international place. Although our student body is still small, we have students from 29 countries. And it's something that we're deliberately doing, is trying to create a very international space at our university. So students have the American style education, the European flavor, but then studying with, learning with, and from students all over the world. So it's a really unique place. And I might add, our tuition is very competitive. Certainly for an American style education, the tuition is very competitive and very reasonably priced. So there's lots of good reasons for Indian students to come.
Impressive. So what does the university cost to attend the course?
Okay. Currently, our tuition is 15,000 euros a year. However, as we're a startup university, we're encouraging students to come. So we're, at least for this January intake of 2019, and possibly for fall of 2019, we're offering a 50% scholarship for students. So the price for an American style education at 7,500 euros a year is very, very competitive and affordable. And Malta, certainly by European standards, is very inexpensive. The housing situation, food and transportation, students from India can work as part of the program or as part of their residency permit, and they can cover all of their expenses, plus probably save some money. So it's just a really attractive place.
Great. What will be the future of the students after completing the course?
Okay, well, of course there's future studies that they could do either at our university or another university, but I've already talked about it twice, but I'm going to bring it up again because it's so critical to our mission, is this idea of preparing students to compete in the job market when they graduate. That doesn't mean just getting a job with a company. It means even the possibility of being a freelancer, this so-called gig economy participant, where they are selling themselves on the market. So they're going to have the technical skills in their field, but also the skills they need to represent themselves and what they can do. So we hope that from graduation, they'll either get a job with an existing company, a more traditional job path, or they go out and sell themselves on the job market and are basically work for themselves. So that's our mission, to prepare students for the gig economy and for the 21st century workplace.
Does the university provide housing?
We do provide housing. We do not currently have dormitories on campus, but we do have accommodations for students. We also encourage students, and I think this might be attractive for students from Hyderabad and India in general, to 3 or 4 students get together, rent an apartment together, cook together, and share those expenses. I think that's the most economical way of going. But yes, we do have accommodations for students.
All right, Thomas. We just want to know tenure of the course and any new courses coming up with.
All right. Our courses are for an American standard. A bachelor degree is 4 years. A master's degree is 2 years. We have, for our academic programs, 2 intakes in the year. The fall intake is the month of September, and January for the spring semester. However, we do have something that's unique about our university that I have not mentioned yet. It's our English for Academic Purposes program. We have a lot of students that come from countries like India, who the students need a little bit of brushing up on English. So we have a very intensive English program called English for Academic Purposes. It is English classes for 25 hours a week that we provide free for students, and we have the student take the EAP course for as long as they need until the EAP coordinator and their teachers say, okay, this student is ready to go on and be successful in their coursework. So we offer this EAP course, and those cohorts start almost every month. So a student could, let's say they come from Hyderabad here, and they need some English classes before they start their courses. They could come at almost any time, start the EAP course, and then whenever they're ready, then start with that either fall or spring semester. So we're very flexible. We're also working on, because we're an American style university in Europe, of actually having 2 startup times for every semester. It's not uncommon in America for the fall semester to start in August or at least early September, where the European model is an October start. So we're playing with the idea of really having 4 start times, so we can really facilitate students from all over the world that finish maybe later than we do in the United States. So that's one of the great things of being a startup university. We can be very flexible, and we don't have these traditions in our institution. So we can, within a parameters of being reasonable, we can innovate and do some different things. So it's an exciting place to be.
All right. That's impressive. Generally we go through a lot of Indian students asking questions like, will the university offer any scholarships? What is the take of AUM?
Well, again, I'm repeating myself, but it's worth repeating. At this moment, at least for the spring intake, we are offering 50% scholarships. So that is a 50% discount on what is already a very competitive or reasonably priced tuition. Going forward, we will have merit-based scholarships for students. So we have a lot of things in the works right now, but for now, I can speak very passionately about this 50% scholarship. That's pretty hard to beat for an American-style education. So we're proud of that.
Okay. How are you going to support those 2 Indian students at this point, at the time of visa and after landing in Malta?
Again, one of the beauties of being part of a startup university is we absolutely take care of the student from the moment they make that application online. Either myself or one of my colleagues, we help them with sometimes in-person visa interview preparation. I've worked with a lot of students in India here, and I'm proud to say, knock on wood, right now I'm getting 100% visa approval with the students that I've been working with. So we start immediately with the visa process. When they arrive in Malta, we meet them at the airport. We take them to the place they're staying, And we have a wonderful student services director, David, who David is willing to take phone calls from students 24 hours a day, 7 days a week with any problems they have. So being a small university, we feel like it's a family more than a university.
Okay.
So when students come, and we certainly appreciate that it's such a different culture, different foods, different things, we're going to do all we can to make sure the student feels welcome, that they have support, and that there's somebody they can always talk to if they have problems. And so we're proud of that as well, that we really smother the students with love and support. So
Great. So can students work and study in Malta?
they can. When a student arrives, the university helps them with their residency permit. Once they have their residency permit, students can work up to 20 hours a week. And jobs are very plentiful in Malta, so it's very easy to get work. And as I spoke about earlier, I believe that particularly if like 4 students live together, share expenses of food and transportation, that the 20 hours per week would more than cover their living expenses, and they could even save up a little bit of money. Our university is working with some local partners in Malta to provide internships for every single student, whether they're bachelor's or master's degree program, and place them in a internship that's appropriate for their career path. And that may be in Malta, or it may be in other countries in the EU. So it's really a real advantage for students to study in Malta. They're not only part of Malta, but they're part of the European Union as well. So that's another huge advantage. When students graduate, they have the ability to work. At this time, I believe, I hope I'm correct in saying that they work for 6 months, and then they can apply for a 6-month extension. So it would be a full year of study. And students who have a combination of 5 years of studying and working in Malta or the EU can apply for the permanent residence. So that's also a very attractive thing for students from India.
Great. So let me ask you, value of certification, and can the students go for further studies after completion of the course?
Value of certification, yes, absolutely. Currently, the AUM programs are certified, or accredited rather, by the Maltese government, and we are in the process of applying for accreditation in the United States. So absolutely, the diploma is going to be recognized by governments and businesses around the world, and certainly the student could take let's say that their bachelor's degree program and apply for a master's program in any place in the world. So it is absolutely recognized, and we're looking forward to having the dual Maltese and US accreditation soon. So, and we're also looking forward to adding more master's and eventually PhD level programs.
Mr. Anand, you will be receiving a lot of queries with regards to the student from their parents too. What are the general queries you will be receiving from?
Some of the students will be asking so many questions regarding Malta. Okay, first question is it safe country for Indian students, Mr. Thomas?
It absolutely is a safe country for Indian or any students. And I've only moved there this past summer, and I've been so surprised how authentically friendly the Maltese people are. One would think, because it's such a tourist destination, that they would not have such a great attitude about foreigners, but they go out of their way to be authentically, genuinely kind to people. So I have found them not only to be safe, but extremely warm. We had a student from Gujarat actually arrived very early in August before school started, and he was living by himself in the university housing, and we were all worried about him because he's by himself. He just arrived. Within days, he was like this little movie star in his neighborhood. Everybody knew his name and was looking after him and offering him food and whatnot. So it's really a nice environment to live in. And although I haven't talked about this yet, I'd like to. American University of Malta is on the most beautiful piece of land. It's literally 2 or 3 meters out of the building. You're into crystal clear waters. And from our campus, you have a beautiful view of the capital city of Valletta and this waterway. And so from our campus, about a 2 or 3 minute walk, you can get a water taxi or a ferry to the capital city of Valletta. It's absolutely gorgeous. So I think it's nice as a student, and of course someone working there, to work and study in such a beautiful historic place. So I just can't say enough about it. Just a little short thing about myself. I had no intention of working at AUM in Malta. I happened to visit a friend last May who's part of the university, and I fell in love with the university so much and the country so much, I said, I want to work here. And fortunately, I've been able to work there, and it's really kind of a magical place. I've lived in many countries and traveled in quite a few countries, and it's really a special place. And I hope that the students will not only feel safe, but welcomed there. And it's just a really lovely place. I can't say enough good things about Malta and the Maltese people, who, I haven't said this either, Maltese, there's 2 official languages, Maltese and English. So it's a great place for Indian students to really improve their English skills and practice their English outside of the classroom. So I cannot say enough good things about Malta.
And the last question is, what is the success rate of visas for the Indian students?
Well, I hate to jinx it, but in the past couple of months, I think we've been at 100%. So, we're careful about screening students who, it's really not a mystery about visas. Of course, the Maltese government and the EU that they're connected with wants to know, is a student serious about studying? So do they really have a good reason to come to Malta, to spend the money, to go to the trouble, to go to Malta, to study? Because they could study anywhere. Of course, they could study in India. And that the student knows about how the degree at AUM is going to help them with their career. So if a student is able to go into a visa interview and say, here's who I am, here's why I want to study in Malta, here's how it's going to help me in the future, and most importantly, that I'm going to return back to Malta, or India rather, and either get a job in India or something like that. It's, our relationship right now with the government of Malta is very important for us, and they've been very supportive, and we're doing everything we can to ensure that students are serious about studying, are going to abide by the rules of the visa, not abuse that system. And I'll look straight in the camera and say, if you're a prospective student and you think you're coming to Malta because you want to get a visa and then escape to Germany or something, please do not apply to our university. We do not need that problem, and we want to work with the government of Malta and have a relationship of trust that they can say the students that AUM selects and gives an acceptance letter to and accepts to our university are serious students. They're there to study, learn, and be a respectful citizen or resident in Malta and abide by the laws. And if a student doesn't show up at the airport or doesn't show up at class, we're absolutely going to report that student. We're going to make sure that we find the student. And again, students, if you're thinking about fraud of a visa, if you do this, you're going to not be able to apply for a visa any place, because now the world is very interconnected. So your EU is gone. Australia, the United States, Canada, those countries, you'll never be able to apply. So the visa thing is very important for us, and it's something we take very, very seriously.
All right, that was a great insights about AUM University, Thomas. Anything you want to convey to Indian students about American University of Malta?
Thank you. Yes, I want to reiterate some points that we've talked about. We are a startup university, which I think is a very good thing. We have this entrepreneurial spirit at our university that the students are going to be exposed to, about how to prepare themselves to be competitive in a very competitive job market in the 21st century. So we have a lot of innovative programs that are going on in a really wonderful location. So again, we have an American style education in Europe with a very international student body and a lot of international companies and tourists and visitors in Malta. So the student from India is going to be exposed to so many ways of thinking and doing things. So that's very valuable. From a practical standpoint, we are, at least for the month of, or the January intake, we're offering 50% scholarships for students. So we're making already affordable tuition even more affordable for such a good, high quality American style education. Then there's some other practical things. Once the student gets their residency, they can work up to 20 hours a week, so they can more than cover their living expenses and I think save money. We have internships that we guarantee students. The American style education is very practical based, not theoretical. So they're going to be doing a lot of active learning, project work in the community. And I cannot say enough good things about the country of Malta. It's a beautiful place. It's a place where it's very safe, welcoming to foreigners, inexpensive, certainly for European standards, and our campus is absolutely gorgeous. It's again 2 or 3 meters to the water, so there's something very nice about studying and living in such a beautiful environment and the history of Malta. So for me, it's just a confluence of all kinds of good things at one time, and I'm proud of what we're doing at American University of Malta, and I can tell any parents, absolutely, your son or daughter is going to be safe, welcome, and well taken care of by everyone at our university, and we're really looking out for their future, and we hope that we can have more good students from India, and it's a great place to study and to visit. So thank you for this opportunity to talk with you today.
We got a great insights from Dr. Thomas, who is from American University of Malta. We've gone through like lifestyle and the culture and the education segment and entrepreneurial country. For more information about American University of Malta, you can reach Anand Kallam and as well Anand, Indo Global Studies.